Here, normally the circuit switch network, it is used in telephone system. Okay, so that's why here the devices we have specified it as a telephone system. And other end, you can just see there also there are set of telephone devices connected to the switch. And to provide communication between these telephone networks, okay, telephone, so it requires to connect the switches between these two networks. So using high capacity line, you can just observe the diagram. There is a thin line to connect the telephone to the switch. So it indicates, the thin line indicates the capacity of the line is, or the link is low. Okay, the capacity of the link is low. This side also you can just observe, because when you are connecting these devices independently from the device to the switch, so it requires low capacity. This device alone, it is going to make use of this link to send the data. Okay, but here you can just observe the switch that is used to connect the switches from one network to the other network, so it requires high capacity line. So here capacity in the sense how much data it can transmit at a time. So that is the meaning of high capacity. Normally we'll use the term bandwidth. Okay, so this channel or the link that will be shared among these four telephones. Okay, at the same time, if all the telephone request for sending the data, so in that case the capacity of the channel is divided. Okay, it will be shared among the four telephone lines. So high capacity line can handle four voice communication at the same time. I told it is going to divide. So the high capacity channel is divided into four separate channels. Okay, each channel is dedicated to each of the telephone system. So that channel, it is going to carry the voice information from source to the destination. Okay, so that high capacity lines can be shared all pair of telephones. So here we have taken just four telephones. It is shared among all the four telephone systems. Okay, so here what is the function of switch? Okay, in circuit switch, the switch is going to used for only forwarding. That means whatever the data it is coming. So here the type of data is voice. Okay, whatever the data that is coming to the switch, it is not going to store anything. Okay, it is not going to perform any changes with respect to the data. As and when the data comes, it immediately forward to the specified address. Okay, so that is a function of switch in case of circuit switch network. It is going to just forward the data, even it is not going to store. Okay, as and when data comes, because the channel is divided and it will find the channel, the data will be sent through that channel to the destination. Okay, so what is the advantage of, I am not going in detail, actually there is a lot of things to understand how exactly the circuit switch network works. So we'll discuss that part in the later module. Okay, just a brief introduction. So circuit switch network is efficient only when it is working at its full capacity. Okay, so obviously when the capacity of the channel, if it is shared among multiple devices, okay, so what happens is the efficiency goes down. Okay, instead of this high capacity, instead of four devices, if it is connected only two devices, the channel capacity is shared among only these two devices, it can send the data at faster rate. Okay, so efficiency is going to be improved, but only when a less number of devices are connected. Okay, so circuit switch network is efficient only when it is working at its full capacity. But if capacity of the link, if it is shared among more number of devices, then so the efficiency may not be good. But here what happens is, the disadvantage of circuit switch network is the network is inefficient. Okay, network is inefficient because it is working at partial capacity. Okay, partial capacity means the capacity of the high capacity link, it is shared among all the devices. That means it is each device, it is not making use of the complete capacity of the channel or the link. Okay, so that is one limitation. It is going to be reduce the efficiency. it becomes inefficient when the more number of devices are connected. So next we'll move on to packet switched network. Okay, packet switched network. So what is this? But diagram you can just observe what is the difference. Here also we have 4 telephone systems. Okay, why I have taken example of telephone system is circuit switch, it is mainly used in telephone system. Okay, so packet switching it is used in the network, computer network. So that's why here the examples we have taken laptop. So in case of packet switch network, how it works? You can just observe one side we have set of sender devices and the other side receiver devices. So these devices are connected through the network element called router. Okay, so what is router? What is the functionality of router? So all that we'll be discussing later. So I'll just focus on how packet switching takes place. What is the advantage? So in a computer network, communication between the two end devices is done in the form of block of data called packets. Okay, that means whenever consider this system want to send the data, okay, so whatever the data it want to send, it will be divided into number of blocks. You can see here, okay, the data is divided into number of blocks. Even if the device, this device want to send the data, whatever the data, whichever the device want to send using this network, that will be divided into number of blocks. So those blocks we call it as packets. Okay. So in this case what happens? The switch is used for both storing and forwarding. Okay. So whatever the router you can see here, okay, whatever the router you can see here. So once the data comes, if router is busy in sending the previous data, so it is having some small memory. Whenever new data comes, it will be stored. Okay, it will be stored or it will be queued up. Okay, once that finishes, the next data is taken and that is forwarded. Okay, so like that, as and when the data comes, it will be stored, and once the router becomes free, it is going to take the data from the queue and it will send to the other router. Okay, so you need to understand, switching, it is not going to store, it will just forward it if you use switch to connect the networks. If it is a router, it is having even not only this storing and forwarding, later we will discuss in detail, even it will be having some intelligence. Okay, intelligence in the sense it is going to identify if this data comes where it has to send. Okay, how it will come to know where the device is connected in the network, what is the route of that network. In that case, it is going to design a table. Okay, it is going to design a table. Just show you that table here. Okay, it will design a table containing some set of information to identify where the data should be sent. Okay, it will be having the table called routing table. Okay, it will be having, so if the data comes from this node, okay, if it want to reach this particular destination, okay, what is the path it has to take, so that will be specified in the table. Okay, so that is the intelligence that is present in the router. So router is having that feature. So here with respect to packet switch network, I am just telling it is going to follow both storing and forwarding. Okay. Remaining all once again here, one more important point with respect to the capacity. Okay, high capacity line has twice the capacity of low capacity line. Okay, so that is just differentiating the links used to connect the device to the router and the links used to connect to the router to the other network. Okay, so always it will be having high capacity. Okay, in case I will just consider if only two computers need to communicate with each other, there is no waiting of packets. That means it will, the capacity of the link it is more. In that case, as and when the data comes, it will be forwarded. In case if the capacity of the link, more number of devices want to send the data, okay, if not two, more than two devices. So in that case, what happens? The link once again it is shared. So So what happens with respect to that? It will slow down the communication. Okay, so that is one thing. Another thing is, so here it can make use of the complete capacity of the link to only one device. Okay, so I think in operating system you will be learning about scheduling, how it will send the data. It is not going to send only whatever the file you have sent from this device to this device at a time. It will divide the data into number of blocks. Okay, even if other device want to do the same thing, it will use some scheduling mechanism. It will allow for some nanosecond this device to send the data and it will stop. Then it will allow the second device to send the data and it will stop. Okay, once it is all the device done, then it will switch to the first device. Okay, so like that the scheduling is done in such a way that the user will not come to know that the link is sharing. Okay, so you will not come to know. So the user will feel in such a way that there is a dedicated link between the end devices. Okay, so that is the speed of the network. So that is in case of packet switch network. So packet, what is the advantage? So packet switch network is more efficient than the circuit switch network. So that is because of sharing of the channel or the link. Okay, so here there may be possibility of delay. In case of packet switch network, there may be a delay. So because, why delay? So because the data it is going to store and forward. Okay, so in some, due to some reason, the whatever the data that is stored in the queue, it may take long time to sit in the queue and that is forwarded to the destination. So due to that there may be a possibility of delay. Okay, these are the two advantage and disadvantage of the packet switched network. Okay, just be aware of these two, the difference. So later part will discuss in detail how exactly these switching mechanism works. Okay, so that's all about the first chapter. So can I ask few questions regarding module 1? Who are know the answer, you can just put it in the chat box. Okay, or you can just unmute and you can tell the answer. Okay, I'll just read the question. I have not prepared any form or the questions in a separate document. I'll just ask the question. If you know the answer, you can just answer to me. Just give me a time. Simple, just one or two, like one more question, objective type. Okay. So you just answer to this question. Identify the 5 components of data communication system. What are the 5 components of the data communication system?
Message, sender, receiver, transmission medium, and protocol.
Okay, fine. Next question is, I want everybody should participate. What are the 3 criteria necessary for effective and efficient network?
Stability, accuracy, timeliness, and jitter.
Huh? Criteria, network criteria. I am not asking the characteristics. Understand the term network criteria.
Performance, security,
Yes.
security.
One more.
Reliability.
Yes. Okay. Performance, reliability, and security. These are the 3 main criteria of network. Next. Okay. What are the 2 types of line configuration? two types of line configuration.
Point-to-point connection and multi-point connection.
Yes, very good. That's correct. Okay. Okay, I think Tina told us. A line configuration, two types, point-to-point and multi-point. We have discussed different topologies. Can you categorize these topologies into which belongs to point-to-point and which belongs to multi-point? If you have remembered the diagram, you can easily answer. So just recall 4 types of topologies. Okay, you just differentiate those topologies into those 2 categories, line configuration. Yes, is it difficult to answer to this question? Okay, let me tell you. Okay, I will take mesh topology. It comes under point-to-point connection. What about star topology?
All are point-to-point connections only, Uma.
Everybody will agree with that? Is it all the topologies comes under point-to-point connection?
Ma'am, only mesh is point to point, others are point to multi.
Okay, what about others? Okay, now you observe the diagram. You can say point to point means there is a dedicated link. Okay, that is called point to point. In case if the link is shared among different devices, okay, that becomes
Mesh is multi-point because every device is connected to each
but
other.
with the dedicated link, no, how it becomes multi-point? Okay, in case of mesh, it is point to point. See, this is one device, this is one device. There is a point to point, dedicated link is there. This is point to point connection only. No other devices can share this link. Okay, this is dedicated only between these 2 devices. So because of that, it is point.
Ma'am, star topology is point-to-point. Bus and that ring is multi.
Okay, listen. Don't get confused. Very simple. When there is a dedicated link, it is point to point. Is it clear? Mesh topology. Hub. Here also there is a dedicated link. Okay, this is also point to point. So here this is not dedicated link. So here there is one single link that is shared among different devices. Okay, this comes under multi-point. And ring topology. So this is also dedicated link only between A and C. The link is shared. Only these 2 devices can send the data at a time. Okay, even if it want to send to D, it has to go through this. But still, the link between devices, it is only one link, and this can be shared by only A and C. Okay, this is also point-to-point connection. So except bus topology, all are point-to-point connection only. Okay, clear now? Still any doubts? Okay. Will you agree or still anybody is having doubt? Shall I go to the next question? What is the difference between off duplex and full duplex transmission mode? I think everybody knows. Yes? Off duplex, full duplex, even simplex also you can tell. Transmission mode. So in case of simplex, the data will be sent only one side, one direction, and that is fixed. Okay, always sender will be sending the data, receiver will be receiving the data. Okay, it cannot be vice versa. So that is called simplex. Example, I think I already explained, I will not go in detail. Then half duplex, okay, both the devices can send and receive, but not at the same time. Simultaneously it is not possible. When one device is sending, either device should be receiving the data. Okay, so only one direction it can send the data. Actually it can send the data both the direction, but not simultaneously. That is half duplex. Example, walkie talkies. Then full duplex, simultaneous data transmission can be done. Example, you only told on that day, that is telephone system. Okay, so those are all different transmission modes. Okay. Okay, number of lines required to connect the devices in mesh topology. So we'll calculate how many number of cables it requires to connect the devices in case of mesh topology.
N into n minus 1.
Okay, so that's correct. Now I'll add one more point to that. Okay, I have here. So your answer is correct. Depending on the number of nodes, each node requires n minus 1 cables. Okay. In case if the link is of type duplex, that is full duplex. Okay. So that means in the same link, if it is able to send and receive, so number of links required is n into n minus by 2. Okay, I want you need to add this point. So during discussion I have not told, I just told only n into n minus 1. Okay, if the same channel is able to send and receive the data, so number of lines required is, if it is a duplex, just remember, if it is a duplex link, number of links required is n into n minus 1 by 2. Okay, in case of star topology, how many number of links it requires? Star topology. I'm asking very simple questions. Ashish, answer is correct. It is n. It requires n number of cables. Then ring. The ring topology. So answer is correct, n minus 1. You people just later you go through how it can be, how it is n minus 1, all that. Okay. Okay. Okay, there may be a problems on this also. So for mesh, in some question papers, they've asked the problems. Okay, they will tell number of devices and they will ask you to calculate how many number of devices it can be connected. You just check for the term. If they've used, if the link is full duplex, then you have to calculate using this. Okay, if it is simplex or if they have not specified anything, you can just tell n into n minus 1. Substitute the value of n, number of nodes, and calculate what is the number of links it requires. Okay, so that's all about just simple questions I have asked. So that completes the module 1. Okay. So let me share module 2 node PPT. Actually here, is it, the screen is visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So whatever the PPT I am using, it is module, I mean not module, 4th edition. Okay. So there are some slight difference between the diagrams. Maybe next class onwards I will just do that correction. Okay. So let me continue for today's class with the same slides. So second module In the beginning class, the first class I told the network, whatever the operation or the protocols it is going to use, how exactly the data is transmitted from one node to the other node. It is represented in the form of layers. Yes, how many layers I told? In the first class I told. How many layers they have divided the task or the functions? Not remembered? So 7 layers. Okay. So we'll discuss those 7 layers in detail in this chapter. Okay. It's very important. We call it as that model, OSI model, and also we have the modified version of that is TCP/IP model. Okay. When I use the term network, so do you think it is just a hardware part or software part, or it is combination? Okay, always network is a combination of both hardware and software. So where each hardware and software is responsible for sends the data from one location to the another location. Okay, so hardware means what are the things that comes under hardware? So normally it is a physical equipment. Okay, so physical equipment that carries the signal from one point to the other point or from one device to the other device. Okay, hardware means all physical equipment that comes under hardware. Software, so it will be having set of instructions, instruction set. Okay, there will be a program. So what exactly those instruction sets it is going to perform is, so it will provide a service. Okay, provide the service that expect from the network to send the data from one device to the other device. Okay, it will give the instructions, what exactly when the data comes, what exactly it has to perform. So all that operations it is implemented using software. Okay, always when I use the term networks or networking or data communication, you need to understand that it is combination of both. Okay, so here whatever the operation it is going to perform, it is represented or the functionalities it is implemented to send the data from device to the one device to the other device in terms of layers. Okay, it is not only with respect to network. So even in current scenario or in daily life, we'll be using this layers mechanism. Okay, so here we are going to consider one example. Okay, that is there are two friends who want to communicate through postal mail. Okay, that is just I am taking scenario how exactly they have designed the network layer based on the daily life, the postal mechanism example. Okay, so how exactly the information is sent through postal mail. So that is just converted into network layer. Okay, you will come to know how exactly it is done. So the process of sending letter to friend would be complex if there were no service available from the post office. Obviously, if there is no post office, so every time you cannot go, okay, and share the information or meet every time, it's not possible. Okay, if it is in same city, okay. If the person or the friends are located in different location, it is going to be difficult and time consuming. So we'll take this example. So how exactly layer mechanism is done. Okay, that is example of sending a letter between two friends. Okay, so let us consider two friends who communicate through postal mail. So it make use of service of post office. Okay, if they want to, if this sender want to, or this person want to send the data, okay, to friend, so it requires the post office. Okay, through post office, the letter or the data information can be sent. So here how it is divided. So how the process is done. So here there are two main entities. One is sender. Just observe the diagram. Okay, one is sender, receiver, and carrier. Okay, that is going to carry the information. So these are the three important components that comes under postal office when you want to send the data. So now what happens when you want to send a letter? You can just start telling, or you can just imagine how we'll send the letter. What are the process you are going to do? First you will write a letter, okay, then insert letter into an envelope. Then what you will do? Then you will drop the letter into the mailbox. Okay, so that is done by the sender. So write the letter, put the letter into envelope, then drop into mailbox. So before to that you need to add address and all those things. Okay, on the envelope you need to write the sender address and also the destination address. Okay, so here the task it is specified as higher layer. Okay, this is the first layer. Okay, what is the first layer performs? Writing letter, put into envelope, then put into the mailbox. Then we have middle layer. So what is this middle layer is going to perform? According to the post office, the letter is picked up by a letter carrier, okay, and delivered to the post office. Okay, the person is going to take the letters from the mail, that post box, okay, and it will be delivered to the post office. Okay, so the letter delivered, so this becomes the lower layer. In the lower layer, the letter is stored at the post office and carrier transport the letters. Now, carrier means it is transmission path. So carrier is going to take that letters based on the segregation. Okay, they will send the letters. So how they will send? Okay, either they will use bus, some transportation method they will use, and they will send the data to the specified addresses. Okay, so consider now that whatever the letter it is posted, it comes from the sender through the carrier and it will be delivered at the receiver side. Okay, once again receiver side we have three layers. Okay, lower layer. What is the function of lower layer? The carrier transport the letter to the post office. Okay, once the letter comes from the transport, okay, either flight or the bus, whatever it is, they will collect those letters and once again it is sent to the post office. Okay, so it will be delivered to the post office. So from post office what they will do, the letter is sorted and delivered to the recipient mailbox. They will check the pin number, address, area, everything. Accordingly they will segregate all the letters. Okay, then the postman they will pick the post and they will deliver to the specified destination. So that is picking the letter and delivering to the specified destination. It is done by the middle layer. Then what is the function of higher layer at the recipient? The receiver pick up the letter, okay, from the box and opens the envelope and they will read the letter. Okay, this is a simple example. Whatever the task we are doing in daily life, that is also represented in the form of layers. Okay, so here this is a traditional method of communication, postal system. Okay, so currently also it is used, they are using, but not much. Okay, so now this you need to connect to the computer network. Okay, how exactly they have done layers, higher, three layers. In the same manner, even the network they have divided into different layers, and each layer is responsible for performing some operation. You can just see it is so clearly they have specified. Okay, what is the first higher layer it is going to do? Okay, the person is going to write, put the envelope into the mailbox. That is the only function, nothing else. Okay, that is the function done by the higher layer. The opposite of that is receiver side. So the receiver will receive, once it comes to the higher layer, receive it, okay, open the envelope and read it. So in between you can just see there are so many other functions are taking place, okay, and each function it is independent. So this operation it is not dependent on this. So they have segregated all the service or function of each layer separately, and each layer is working independently. And can you observe here, it cannot be like in out of order. So the first layer is started working with the middle layer. Okay, it is not possible. So first higher layer should send the information to the lower layer. Okay, then lower layer it will forward the data to the recipient. It should, the data should go in the same order through all the layers. Okay, this is just an analogy I have considered. Now we'll just go how exactly they have done this layering mechanism in the computer network. Okay, so now before going to the actual model, okay, the actual layer, we'll just go through some of the standards that is used in the network layer. Okay. So here OSI model. What is OSI model? It is once again a standard. Yesterday we were discussing. So OSI model. OSI stands for International Standard Organization. Okay, International Standard Organization is multinational body dedicated worldwide agreement on international standards. So an ISO standard that covers all aspects of network communication in the open system interconnect model. Okay, this is the, see, ISO is the organization, OSI is the model, don't get confused. OSI, we are going to discuss now OSI model. So that is the layer mechanism used in the network to send or for communication. Okay, it was the first module or model introduced. Okay, so in 1970. Is it clear? And this is a model that is recognized by ISO organization. Okay, International Standard Organization. It is made an agreement with respect to all aspects of the computer communication network using OSI model. So here we need to discuss this OSI model in detail, how exactly they have arranged or how exactly the layering mechanism is done. Only thing is you just remember. So instead of ISO, OSI, if you tell ISO model, it is wrong. It is an organization. Okay, or it is a standard that is going to recognize some of the model with respect to the computer communication networks. So here we are going to discuss mainly three topics with respect to OSI model. One is layered architecture, then peer-to-peer process, then encapsulation. Okay. So we'll just first today's class will go with the layered architecture. So let me see how much it is possible. I'll try to cover that. So ISO is the organization and OSI is the model. So how many layers I told? So now whatever the model we are going to discuss for computer network, it is called OSI model, that is open system interconnection model. Okay, just remember, see, these are the terms you need to remember. I told in computer networks or data communication, you will come across with so many new terms. Okay, normally we'll use the abbreviation that is OSI model, but you should be knowing what is OSI. So open system interconnection, that is introduced in 1970. And ISO is the recognizing standard. So now we'll move on to the layers. Okay, 7 layers of OSI model. You can just see this is one sender side layers, how the task to be done to send the data from sender to the receiver. So all that task or the functionality, it is divided into layers. Okay, so you can remember these layers, 7 layers. First one is application layer, presentation layer, session layer, transport layer, network layer, data link layer, physical layer. Okay, so in this chapter we are going to discuss in detail about each of these layers. Okay, OSI model layers. So how, and you need to represent these layers in the same order. You cannot make application layer at the bottom and physical layer at the top. No, this layer ordering is very, very important. Even when you want to tell either bottom to top you can tell, or top to bottom you can specify the layers. Okay, so physical layer, it's easy to understand. Physical layer, that is the foundation. You need the equipment or the transmission media to send the data. And then data link layer, you need a data, then it requires network, then transport, session, presentation and application. Okay, so what are these layers it is going to perform when I want to send the data? Okay, when the device want to send the data, so what are the the data has to go through all these layers. What each layer is going to perform? and how exactly it will be delivered to the receiver, that we are going to discuss. Can somebody tell, can you able to remember this in the same order? Okay, I can just give some shortcut for this. Okay, physical layer, you can just note down the some words to remember the ordering. Once if you start using it, you know, good. First year da. Just a minute. Okay. Okay, you can just use some shortcut. I can just normally, once you start learning all the layers, you can remember the order, no need to worry. Okay, maybe in the beginning it is difficult to remember. So I can just tell you, please do not, I am just giving the shortcut, okay. Please do not tell a secret password anybody, okay. I am just using that. I can tell without using any of the technique, okay. For you people, in the beginning it may difficult to remember the order. Please do not tell secret password anybody, okay. But you should not forget the name of the layer, that is also important, okay. So order is very, very important. Okay, so this is a very simple diagram that tells what are the 7 layers. Okay, so now I'll move to the next diagram. Okay, so there is lot of things I need to discuss with respect to this diagram. Can you compare this with the postal system? Is it matching with that postal system? Don't compare the number of layers, the procedure used or the method used, how they have used layering mechanism in postal communication and also in computer network. Okay, so it is in the same manner they have used. So you can just observe the diagram. There are two devices, device A and device B. Okay. So now when device A want to send the data, so that data has to go through all the 7 layers of OSI model, okay, application layer, presentation, session, transport, network, data link layer and physical layer. Okay, once it reaches the physical layer, then that data, whatever the data it is sent, it will be carried through the transmission medium, okay. So then it reaches the destination. In between there will be a network components, routers. Okay, so in those components, network components, so it will not be having all the 7 layers. Okay, so when it comes to the router, it has to go through the network layer, data link layer, physical layer. It will be having only 3 layers: network, data link layer and physical layer. Once it reaches the destination, so it has to go through the upward to deliver to the device, destination device, and the data should move in the opposite direction: physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session, presentation layer and application layer. Okay, so this is how the data will be transferred through these 7 layers. And in between you can just observe there is an interface. Okay, that means whatever the screen I am using now to interact with you people, that is an interface. Okay, so to make communication between each of these layers, it requires an interface. Okay,